Hello, welcome to EDTE 2000. This module, or shall I say video, will count as our first class. So we're going to be using this time to go over the syllabus and everything you need to know about this course, how you're going to get graded, and its format. So you can see down here, we're going to cover a little bit of everything, and hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a good sense of how this class is going to work and what you're going to be doing. Now, it would be great if you had a copy of the syllabus to follow along. Now, I worked really hard on trying to improve the format of the syllabus to try to make it look nice, make it readable and user-friendly, so hopefully you like that. Please, it would be great if you could print a copy to follow along, or at least know that there is one on Blackboard if you need a copy. So let's start with an introduction in terms of who your teacher is. So I'll make the screen a little bit bigger. Hi. So I am Dr. Mindy Rutherford. I have been here at OU for over 13 years teaching the EDTE 2000 block. This is my baby. This is what I like the best about my job, is teaching this course. So over here on the left, you can see some information. So I've got my office. Who knows when we'll be back in McCracken, but when we are, my office number is 309G. For now, the best way of getting in touch with me is via email, and we'll also be talking about an app that we're going to use for communication. I really hope that sometime during phase 2 for OU that we'll get to see each other face to face. But for now, this will have to do. At least we don't have to wear masks while we're sitting at home. So always good to look at the bright side. I'm going to go back up here, make myself small. Okay, so in terms of who your instructor is, all of my degrees are in psychology. That does make me a little bit unique for the College of Ed, but this course is actually a psychology course. It is a combination of educational psychology and child development. So all my degrees are in psychology. My background experience is split between teaching psychology but working in education. I've been in administrator roles, dealing with teacher effectiveness and curriculum and assessment and all kinds of good things. And finally, I'm here. So I thought I'd put this up because yes, I am going to try to use some memes and do what I can to make the syllabus information interesting, because I know day one isn't always the most exciting. So let's see what we can do to make it engaging. On the front page of the syllabus at the bottom, you can also see, whoop, that was one of my cats. Sorry about that. You'll also see information about our textbook. So this is what our book looks like. It is a custom published book, meaning it's probably impossible to find online except for through the college bookstore. However, I know we're online and this is an unusual format, so I'm saying that the textbook, pardon me, I'm a little distracted because I have a cat here. Hello. Okay, get down. Because you may not be able to get to the Athens textbook store. So the book is optional. If you learn well from a book, if you struggle on exams, please get a copy of the book. Contact the Athens bookstore. If you can often get by without, you might be able to do that. So I'm going to leave that decision in your hands. So what is this course? We're going to be looking at theories of learning, theories of human development, and try to apply that to the classroom to understand who our students are and how they need to learn and how we can teach them best. So over here are a bunch of lovely learning objectives that I wrote that connect with the state standards. You're welcome to read them if you want, but I'm not going to read them to you because I don't want you all to fall asleep on me. So let's get into it. Classroom policies. What the heck are we going to be doing? What's this class going to look like? So if you have a copy of the syllabus with you, this is where you would turn to page 2. This is what it looks like. Let's start at the very top with COVID and our class. Doesn't that just sound special? Okay. For OU's phase 1, as you probably already know, we will be entirely online. Now, don't fret. I taught this class entirely, the whole thing, online this summer. I've been teaching it as a hybrid for 7 years, so I'm good to go. I'm not worried about this at all. The only thing that's going to be missing is I'm going to miss seeing your faces, but hopefully we'll get to see each other soon. So we will be online entirely for that first month. I'm hoping that during phase 2, we will get to see each other. My plan during phase 2 would be a hybrid class where we would meet face to face once a week and be online the other 2 days of the week. However, I recognize that not everybody's going to want to do that. You might want to stay at home. You might have health considerations, so attendance will not be mandatory. It will not hurt you in terms of your points if you are not there. And whatever we do face-to-face, I will make available online for you. But I do think that there is real value in being in the classroom and being able to see each other. So that's why I'm going to try to have that experience. So you'll notice down below. So what will I do when we're face-to-face? I'm going to make sure I cover all the safety precautions. I've gotten huge things of hand sanitizer. I will make sure that I wear a mask or whatever I need to wear, and I would like you all to do the same. We'll make sure we follow that OU guidance on what to do. Format of the course. So the course schedule has been all figured out. Now on the syllabus, you might notice I've only given you up until exam 1. Because I want to see how that goes before giving you the whole rest of the semester. So let's just focus on those first 5 or 6 weeks. Keeping in mind that the course schedule might change due to illness or national changes or even weather, although weather won't really affect us online, but still. So an online class, what does that mean? An online class will be made up of watching 1 or 2 online multimedia videos, just like this one. The only difference is this one was done on YouTube. The ones you'll be doing for class are a bit more sophisticated, and they will be linked in Blackboard to open them. So when do you do it? You complete it on your own, but you'll have a specified time frame, meaning you'll have a whole week to get it done, but you need to do it sometime during that week. You will need some sort of means by which to hear the audio. The audio narration will help a great deal in terms of your understanding and retention. And I'll also be providing you with some guided notes for note taking, and I'll be covering that a little bit later. When you're done, you'll have a quiz to make sure that you understood the content that was covered and most likely some sort of homework assignment. When it comes to technology needs for this class, obviously you're going to need a computer, you're going to need some sort of internet access. You're going to need the GroupMe app. This is for your phone. I'd like to say this is mandatory because this will be my main means of communication with you. I will use this to give you more than weekly reminders. Every Sunday, every Thursday, I'm going to send you a reminder on GroupMe saying, don't forget, do this, this, and this. Don't forget, this is when these quizzes are due. You will have difficulty if you do not have the GroupMe app, because this, again, will be my main way of contacting you. I'll send you a link on how to join the GroupMe group via email. You'll also need Adobe Flash Player. This is something that you'll need on your computer or whatever you'll be using, your tablet, to watch the online videos for the class, because I use a program called Adobe Presenter. So here's a picture of what your screen might look like when you go to open up one of the online modules and your Flash either isn't working or you haven't told the computer to use it. So if you can see my cursor, let me see here if I can make it a laser pointer. Well, that's cool. Okay, so you'll see here where it says select for Adobe Flash. What you'll want to do is click on that and then go over here and you'll need to click to say to allow Adobe Flash. Now every browser is different. This is what it looks like for this browser. You might also need to click over here. You might need to do something to allow Adobe Flash. That's pretty common. Then once you do that, if you see this screen right here, you're golden. That means it has the ability to open the format of the presentation. You just need to sit back and wait and let it load. Other technology needs. Zoom. I don't know about you all, but I really don't like Zoom. There's a slight chance we might use it, but I'd kind of like to get by without it. So we might use Zoom. We might use another similar program. I haven't really decided yet, but I'm still thinking through what I want to do about that, and I'll keep you posted. in terms of technology needs, there's one last one, and it is live text. You may already have it. If so, that's great. If not, I need to tell you about it. All teacher candidates, every single one of you, if you're at Ohio University, are supposed to have live text with what we call the Field Experience Edition. The Office of Clinical Experiences added this as a requirement for this class. Now, in all honesty, we don't really use it for this class. They just know that every single teacher candidate has to take this class, so that's a good course to connect it to. The license lasts you for 5 years, so your whole time here at OU. We use it to track your field placements, to give you credit for your field placements, and a lot of your future courses will use it for things like portfolios and assignments. You have to go to livetext.com to purchase it. I could not get the exact price because in order to get the price, I had to go more steps ahead than I wanted to. As a student, I would have to type in all of my information. But I know last year it was $98. That extra field experience module was an extra $15 last year. When you go to buy it, here's what the website looks like. You will click on up here where it says buy. And then when you go to the page to buy, it looks a little bit weird. They call it a membership, purchase a membership. I also want to point out one more thing. What was it? So when it comes to live text, the dean's office will track whether or not you buy it. So even though we don't use it much in this class, if you don't buy it, they will start to email you and say you must buy live text. They are keeping track of this. So do know it is something bigger than me. It is something out of the dean's office. All right, let's continue with this class. Blackboard. Blackboard can sometimes be unusual. So this is the part of the syllabus I'm going to be talking about. Have you ever felt like this? Where you're thinking, wow, Blackboard says I'm doing great, but I know I've missed a lot of stuff. Blackboard can calculate your grade as what we call a running total, which means it might be ignoring stuff that you've missed and make you think you're doing better than you really are. So, about every 2 weeks, I go into Blackboard and I will enter a 0 for anything that you have missed. Now, I only do that if you have truly missed it. I can tell the difference because Blackboard gives instructors a lot of symbols and codes. So if you never opened it, never tried it, I will enter a 0 so that way your grade won't be artificially inflated. All right, let's continue a little bit. So how will you get graded in this course? It's not just a matter of watching videos. It is going to be very similar to a course. I'm trying to make it as similar to being in your seat in my OU classroom as possible. So let's see how we're going to do that. Pardon me. Okay, so we're now on page 3 of the syllabus. We're moving along. This is what page 3 looks like. Grading and course requirements. You will have some homeworks in this class. I do not have them listed on the tentative calendar because I like to figure those out as we go along, kind of seeing where we want to spend more time. They will be assigned regularly, at least one a week. They are to expand on what we are learning, but I do like to point out they are typically pretty short. I don't think homeworks need to be incredibly heavy duty for you to learn from them. So, I don't want you to feel like this, that just burdened by your homework. Late homework. I do accept late homework, but there is a point deduction. It's only fair to everyone else who gets their work in on time. Then we have quizzes. Quizzes are a big part of your grade in this class. You will have weekly quizzes. You'll have more than one a week. Regular quizzes to make sure that you understood the content that was covered in these online videos. The quizzes are posted on Blackboard. There are no makeups for quizzes. I'm going to say that again. No makeups for quizzes because every single one of them is already posted on the syllabus, and I will personally send you at least one reminder via GroupMe of your quiz due date. Usually I send 2 reminders, so there's no excuse for missing them. However, if you do miss one, see down here, 1 quiz grade will be dropped at the end of the semester. So you can always bomb one or miss one and it won't hurt you. Speaking of which, time management. I will do my best to try to help you all stay on top of your due dates. That's why I'll be using that GroupMe app. I'll be messaging you every Sunday and every Thursday with reminders. Tests. You have 3 tests. They will most likely be online. You will get a review sheet beforehand. They are typically 50 questions, multiple choice. I want to talk a little bit about online exams. Okay, so let's go up here. They are timed. Typically, it is 50 questions, and you'll get 1 hour and 15 minutes. If you have accommodations for extra time, I will make that accommodation. That gives you just enough time to look up the answers that you're not sure about, but not to look up every single question. You will need to study beforehand, just like you would study for a regular test. The exams have random pools for every chapter, so that way no 2 tests look alike. You could be sitting next to someone taking the test, and you guys could have completely different looking tests. You are allowed to use your notebook. You're allowed to use your textbook, another good reason to have the textbook. You're welcome to use the online modules, but that might be a little bit cumbersome in terms of having multiple tabs and things open. I don't recommend doing a random web search trying to find an answer. Who knows if you'll get the right answer or not. We'll talk a little bit about this part, about the importance of doing your own work. Online quizzes and exams. So when it comes to doing your own work, I know that it is tempting to think of interesting ways to cheat for online tests. And it's something that I don't think instructors have really thought through all that well. So what I try to do is make an exam that is difficult to cheat on. And I also like to talk about the importance of the meaningfulness of assessments. So any sort of collaboration, including screenshots or so on, would be considered cheating. What I try to do instead is, like I said, create a test that's hard to cheat on. So I have huge randomly created pools of questions that I wrote, not instructor test banks that can be searched for online. So they were all written by me, and each test will randomly pull just a handful of questions from these big pools so that everyone's test looks different. Another part of grading is going to be a project. Now you might think, how in the world are we going to do a project? Well, you know what? We will figure that out. We were completely online this summer and we made it work. We had students teach a lesson using technology. So here's one student that did one on the life cycle of the frogs. Here's another one who did a poetry lesson. So we will find a way to make it work. I will probably wait until around week 6 or so to talk about what the format is going to be. Class participation. I usually have this be about 5% of the grade, but I gotta admit, I'm still a little stumped on how I'm gonna make this work. So if I get a brilliant idea on how to grade you on class participation, I will thoroughly explain it to you. If not, we might just have to leave that out, but I'm still formulating that part in my head. Here is our grade plan. It is a little bit higher than some other places in OU, so be aware of that if you have a 92, that is an A-. If you can have a 90% and it is a B+. Okay, that's pretty straightforward for all of the College of Ed. Well, a question I often get when it comes to grades is, do I round up? Yes, I do. So if you are a 79.9, you are an 80. If you're 79.5, you're an 80. And extra credit. I will do some extra credit, but I like to point out that I do it for everybody. It won't be just something special for one person who's falling behind, and I typically don't do it at the very end of the semester. I do it earlier on. So now we're on to page 4, moving along. Academic integrity. I've already talked about that one. Any sort of cheating would result in a dispositions report and perhaps being reviewed by the Credentials Review Board. There is this thing called professional dispositions. We will actually be talking about it in one of our Chapter 1 modules. It is how OU College of Ed assesses you on professionalism. So I'd like to point out that is something you get assessed on in this class. I am to look for unprofessional behavior. Usually this relates to your field placement. You may not be in the field. We don't know exactly how that's going to work out. So it does also relate to whether or not you miss a lot of work. So one of the things I typically do, if you miss more than 4 quizzes, you might get a dispositions report on responsibility and time management. Not much happens with that. It is simply an internal OU document, but it is one way that we try to track professionalism of our students. Accommodations. If you have any sort of accommodations, please, please, please let me know so that I can help you. End of semester information. I know it's a little bit early for this, but I'd like to point out I don't do extra credit at the very, very, very end. No makeups for quizzes. And actually I should scratch that out because we don't have an attendance policy this fall. And yes, I do round. Now, drum roll for the truly important stuff. What are we doing now? Okay, how are we going to make this work? What's the course calendar look like? Here's what I have for the course calendar. And like I said, I'm only giving you up until week 6 because I just want to see how that goes before, giving you the entire calendar. So you can see here with my little red dot. Right now you're doing the orientation for today's class. You will have a quiz on this content that is due Sunday. For Wednesday's class, you'll be covering Chapter 1, Part 1. For Friday's class, you'll be doing Chapter 1, Part 2. And you'll see that there is a quiz associated with each of those. Let's take a little bit of a look here. I also like to point out that I don't post homework assignments on here. Some chapters are covered by more than one quiz. I'll try to designate Part 1, Part 2, and so on. If I have a calendar change, I'll make sure everyone gets a new calendar, and my due dates are always 11 p.m. So, who feels like this dog right now? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, so if you're still feeling a little bit clueless, it is my job to try to make things clear. So let's see what I can do. I thought this might be the question you would have now. What do I need to do for an online class? Okay, here's what you do. You go to our website. You find this little button right here that says Course Content. Click on it. It will take you here. I do a folder for every single chapter. When you click on that folder, what you will find is everything you need for Chapter 1. Whether it's a module or a quiz or anything, it's one-stop shopping. So here we are in the Chapter 1 folder, and you can see I have it broken down by Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, just like it is on the calendar. All right, so if I click on Part 1, you will see the online module for Part 1. You will see the fill-in notes for Part 1, and you'll see the quiz. Everything, one-stop shopping. When you click on the module, if you start to see, I'm sorry, I got a cat fight going on in the room. If you start to see this screen right here, that means good. The module is starting to load. When you see this screen, even better. It's still loading. Be patient. And then it will open up, and ta-da, you're at the module. Down here is where you hit pause or play. Here you can go forwards or backwards. This right here will tell you how long it is. So Chapter 1, Part 1, we can all see is 36 minutes long. And here is kind of like a sketch of all the slides. That's how you will go through the module. It will not be YouTube like this because this is a more advanced program that I'm using. Then what? Okay, watch the video, click through it. Listen to the audio narration. That will make it feel more like a class rather than just looking at PowerPoints. These things have embedded videos. Some of them have embedded quizzes, just for fun, not for points. Pause as you need, and dun, 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 take notes. Now you might be thinking, do I really have to take notes? I mean, it's not like she's going to see me. Who's going to know if I take notes or not? Yes, you need to take notes. But I'm going to try and make that easy for you. Look down here. Fill in notes for Chapter 1. I started these last year. It has taken me an entire year to get them all done. You have fill in guided notes for every single module. Yes, You're welcome. I'm hoping that makes your life a little bit easier, because taking notes is important. Remember, I study educational psychology. Everything I read tells me it is important to take notes. You will be more engaged. You will learn better. This right here does not help you learn anything. You take a picture and you put it away. You didn't learn anything. You don't know anything. So this isn't to cause more work for you. It is to improve your learning. I will help you by pacing myself, by having a module that you can pause, and having those guided notes. All right. So recap, flash, recap. What are we doing? Here's how most weeks are going to go. Not every week, but most week. Monday, you'll have a class. That quiz will be due by Thursday. Wednesday, you'll have another class. That quiz will be due Sunday. Friday's class also will be due Sunday. Now, you might wonder, why is there this Thursday deadline? Because if everything is due on Sunday, you will wait on Sunday to do it all, and then you'll be miserable. This will keep you a little bit ahead of things. You might notice we are suddenly joined by my daughter. This is Sarah. She was patient long enough, so she's come and joined me for the last little bit here, right? Okay, so everything, if you can see my little red line, is due by 11 p.m. So that's always going to be our due time. Let's see what's next. So if any of you are still thinking, what do we do? So every Monday, the online modules for that week will open up for you. You're going to go through the videos on your own when you feel like it, as long as you do it by the deadline and take your notes. Use the syllabus and the app with my reminders to keep track of what's due when. And remember, I will help you. I'm going to be messaging you and helping you stay on track of things. And here's what we're doing week 1. So congratulations, you've done Monday's class. All you have left is Wednesday and Friday. So chapter 1, part 1, chapter 1, part 2. This week I have everything due Sunday just because it's the first week. After that, the Monday class will have a Thursday due date. And that's it. So thank you for your attention. This turned out to be longer than I expected, but I hope it was helpful. Sarah, can you say bye?
Bye.
Bye. It was great to see you all, and hopefully I'll be seeing your faces soon.